Hey, everybody. It's Amy from the Art of Imperfect Adulting. Let me check and see if I think that I'm actually live. Of, it's always a bit of a question mark. Anyway, my name's Amy Stone, and you may know me from the Art of Imperfect Adulting. If you have somebody who watches my lives and hangs out with me in other places, you might notice that the background behind me looks different. I'm doing this. It's an Airbnb. It's not my space, but I'm trying it anyway. Part of my goal for the summer in the adventures is to try new things, and that's what we're doing here. All right, so the purpose of this live today, assuming that I'm live, I think I'm live. We'll see. Usually I get an announcement. I never know. It's confusing. Streaming is new to me. We'll talk more about that. All right, so a couple months ago in my production, I switched or added eCamm is really more what happened when I look at it. I'm going to explain a little bit about what eCamm is, what it does, how I use it, and just in case anybody has any questions, because in addition to producing the show, I also do a lot of networking connection with people who are on YouTube and are creating podcasts. And so this is more for that group of people, if that's you. So the backstory is that one of the tools that I was using to edit my show I was using to create vertical videos, it stopped working to do that. It works for a bunch of other things, but it wasn't doing that anymore. And so I was on the hunt for new things and I came across eCamm, right? I don't actually really remember how or why. I mean, it's not like it was a secret. I may have known about it for a while. I have no idea. But so that's what I was looking for. And eCamm was in development for something that was coming out. Like, so I subscribed in February and it was coming out with what they were calling dual mode. It was in beta. I don't do beta programs if I can avoid it because I just like my software to be tested by other people before I use it. I think that's a legacy of using Quark Express and Apple networks in the late 1980s, early 1990s, but I can't be sure. But I was on the hunt for a new tool. And here's a thing that I will point out. These days, with all of the things that I use, it's almost like you have to subscribe and try them for a while before you can actually know or have any idea what they actually do. So you can like watch demos, but like for a lot of things, you have to actually like sign up and do their trial and try it for a while and really put it through their paces to see what it actually does. It's just hard to tell otherwise. And so that's what I did. I signed up for their trial, and you can sign up for the trial too if you want. I've got a link if you're curious, which is my affiliate link in the show description, or you can go to eCamm and figure that out. eCamm is Mac only. It's not an issue for me at all. I'm all Mac all the way and have been for a long time. Why am I on a Mac? Be kind of like the reason that I shot Nikon for so many years. My dad handed me my first camera. I don't know. I've always been Mac. I am the only all Mac person in my household. Everybody else is PC, but I'm all Mac start to finish. Not an issue for me. Would I switch to Mac for this one software? No, I don't think so. I don't think they have any intention of changing that. So, like, if you're not on Mac, then this is just not a platform for you, and I won't be offended, and neither will they. So there is that. One of the other things that is unique to me, maybe, or just my preference that I'll talk about with eCamm that is just different from a lot of other things. There is so much more option now for people who are looking to get started with YouTube and podcast and video overall. There's a lot of flexibility, there's a lot of options, there's a lot of tools that never existed before. All of it is great. I like to create my stuff from scratch. I'm not a person who's necessarily looking for plug and play templates. That's part of my personality. It's because I like to do those things. I'm not necessarily good at it, but I like to create my stuff, and I don't necessarily want something where it's just like I update my colors, my brand colors, and roll it out, right? That there's so many things. So I wasn't looking for that. I was looking for something that offered me flexibility and the ability to do something on my own. And eCamm is that. When you open eCamm, it's really a blank slate. And so there's that. What I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to try and do demo mode, and that should show you my screen the way I see it. It's the first time I'm ever doing this. So turn on live demo mode. You should see my whole screen. If you're watching this someday, today, any day, and it doesn't do that, send me a note. But you should see my whole screen. This is what it looks like for me that I am doing it. So I can see here there are no viewers watching right now. Let's see if we can. Oh, but it does look there. It does say streaming, so I could have checked that. All right, so this is what I see. It's streaming to YouTube. You can stream to a bunch of different places, LinkedIn, Instagram, if you've got 1,000 followers, Facebook, those kind of things. Like it's designed, I think eCamm was built as a streaming platform. You can also use it. I use it to record the interviews and then I put them together and I post them. But I use it to stream the creator roundtable, right? When you open it up, you just get this basic stuff. And then you go in and you create what they call scenes, right? And so I'll change it here. And I don't know, like, so this is my solo scene. It's got my logos. One of the things you'll see is this is what they call dual mode. I'm only streaming to YouTube. But if I wanted to stream to a vertical platform, this would be me over here streaming to the vertical platform. It's set up to do it all at the same time. And that's really nice. And then for recording, it's recording those two files all at the same time. So this is, you can have my guests. I have a bunch, these are so these are my setups um, for the Art of Imperfect Adulting, right? This is what it looks like. And I've got another set of scenes for our profiles for the Creator Roundtable and for a bunch of other things, right, that I do. And so this is what it looks like. One of the things that I like, I'll show you, is that it connects to Zoom for me. I have been using Zoom for my interviews since before lockdown when everybody else discovered it. So it's built into my workflow. It's how I set up appointments and things like that. So I just add that here. You don't have to use Zoom. They also have interview mode, which is this thing up here. I've never used it. I don't know what it does. There's a lot of flexibility. I undoubtedly do not use an enormous amount of what eCamm has to offer. But they have overlays and graphics for lives. Let's see if I can find it. If anybody was here, yeah. So if anybody was tuned in live while I was streaming and they made comments, I can incorporate them in the live stream. All right, so that's a lot of fun. So it's a really cool thing. Let's see what happens if I go back. I'm going to take it off of live demo mode. This is not a how to use eCamm mode. It's just why I chose it. And I don't know if it's my choice like forever and ever, but it's my choice for right now. So one of the things that appealed to me about eCamm that I will say, and when I was making my choices, and this is also my preference, you may not be this way and you may not like it. A lot of the tools that I'm using for my podcast and YouTube and video editing, they are priced based on usage. And so then I very quickly will hit thresholds because this is a high volume production. I produce a lot of episodes of the podcast. I produce a lot of YouTube content. And so I very quickly ramp up in how much I'm using. And sometimes, especially in the event of Descript, which is what I've been using for a little while to do the vertical videos, the way I create them, I actually pay twice because I have to upload it twice to get it to be able to be edited into the vertical format that I want. And so it's like doubling up on the expense. I don't know if it's just because I'm old and a Luddite, but that drives me bananas. I like to have a pricing for a subscription or a purchase of a software, and then I want to go and use it. I don't want to hit a point where it's like, oh, you've used it 5 times and now you're bumped up to the next scale. That's just my preference. I definitely am a person who has subscription fatigue for sure. But yeah, that's a thing. I mean, I understand it from a business perspective. And when you've got a product that's based on usage, the company should get paid for it. I'm not arguing that point at all. But for me, as somebody who is a single person, I'm not a big enterprise production. A lot of these things are priced basically like it's like a loss lead. Like there's a little tiny one that is your entry level pricing, and very quickly you're gonna level up out of that. So it's like their next pricing is really their real pricing. And so, like, for me, I was definitely looking for something that was like, you subscribe and then you go and do the things that you're gonna do. I don't know if you can purchase it. I don't remember what the pricing, like, so I'm paying eCamm every month. I don't know if you can do annual. Anybody can check. I'm sure you can do an annual, but I don't know if there's an outright purchase. Um, so that was one of the things that appealed to me. There's no like, "Oh, you cannot do this on this plan that you're on," just because that annoys me. I just always find that it's like, I think I'm gonna be able to do something, and then I get in there and I'm like, "Ugh, I have to upgrade." That drives me bananas. Okay, so, um, like I said, I feel like today in 2026, with all of these tools, with a lot of these tools, you almost have to try it, jump in, see what they do, see if they work for you in order to figure out if you like it or not. And then the backside of that, that's kind of just a fact of life, is that changing a tech stack or a production routine once you're doing it feels like it's hard, right? So once you commit to a software, it's hard to undo it. It's hard to figure out what you're gonna do next if it doesn't work for you anymore, if you wanna make a change or an upgrade. For me, the switch to try and find something that would allow me more flexibility in my editing and my production, I've said this many times over the last couple months. It felt like it was going to be a teeny tiny change in my production schedule. And it is more like the beginning of a home renovation project. You think you're going to paint a wall, and then you're like, oh gosh, I have to paint the room. And before you know it, you're involved in a full scale redo of everything you've ever done. That has been very much what my experience has been. I signed up in February. And so I'm recording this at the end of April. I do like eCamm. I do. I think there's definitely been a learning curve for sure. In fact, later next week, I think you'll see that the very first recording I did with eCamm, I didn't even record any video. I didn't know how to do it. I just got audio. Eh, eh, didn't go so well. And then, they're not out yet, but you'll get a chance to see that it took me a while to figure out, and I'm not like an amazing designer, but it took me a while to make the overlays and figure out what I was going to do with them. It changed my production process completely. The old way that I made the podcast was that I recorded the interviews in Zoom, I recorded the introduction in Zoom, I assembled it in post processing, I put it out for distribution everywhere. Using eCamm, because eCamm is, I mean, you could use eCamm that way 100%. Using eCamm has shifted the way I'm doing things to more like a streaming live production for everything, even when I'm recording. And so I assemble the pieces, I sort of front load things that used to be after into the beginning of the production. And even though it took me a while to get there, honestly, I'm happier with the quality of what I'm producing now that I've got that. So it's like I've got these components and they're ready to go, and the work of production is happening more before I make the interview than after. That fits very well with my personality as a creator. And so the method to that used to be called live to tape. It makes no sense, that phrasing there, because there is no tape, but live to file, I don't know what we'd call it. Anyway, so like the intro, everything is recorded in that moment, and then it either streams or I make a local recording and set it up for distribution. So I didn't make the change in order to simplify my production schedule, but actually it has done that. It has cut, for each episode that I'm recording, it has cut maybe an hour and a half off the time that I was doing. I didn't realize that until I started making the change. It has made the videos that I'm making, I think, more dramatic. I think the quality of what I'm putting out visually on video is better. I do think that eCamm was designed as a streaming platform, and I have chosen to do some streaming like this. I'm releasing this as a streaming. Um, but there is temptation anytime you go to a platform to modify what you are doing as a creator to match what the platform was made to do. And there's a balance somewhere in there, right? Like, so I'm not necessarily an all stream all the time kind of person. And so I think each of us has to think about where does this fit in what I'm doing, right? Let's talk about support and community from eCamm. They have courses to teach you how to do it. They have an email, Facebook community. It's big. It's helpful. They do live events with their team for office hours and support and how to every week. There's a lot of opportunity to connect with the people that are there. They also have online help, and they've been around long enough that they have influencers and users all over the place that for 99% of the things that I've been trying to do, you can Google it and YouTube it and find other people that will answer how to do it. They did just go through a major upgrade, which is where they added the dual features on, and it is a small user community, like based. And if you were to compare it to something like Google or Microsoft, for sure, right? Um, and so I have this sense that. That a lot of the people that use eCam like to be very self-reliant. One of the things is because this is a platform that is designed to let people do a variety of things, right? And so people use it for streaming worship services, concerts, podcasts, all kinds of things. You can do one camera like I do. You can build a studio with multi-camera. You can do all of these things as part of an amazing summit as an attendee. Somebody live streamed for 3 days straight with all these different panels and things like that. It was really phenomenal. Um, there's a lot of things that you can do with it, and so there's a lot of support and people who are willing to answer how you can do things. But I do see a lot of people asking questions that really kind of come down to an individual, very custom setup. And so I think the reality is that with this particular platform, a lot of the people who use it um, are very self-reliant. And so while there's definitely people who are there to help you do it, your own individual custom situation way that you're recording, you're going to want to learn that. And so if that's not the kind of thing that you are willing or interested or able to do, you know, just know that about yourself, I guess, is where that comes down to. But there's plenty of support. There's plenty of community that even do what they call eCam Camp, which I have not done. But last week they were in London doing a conference for their users, and they have one in the summer in the Northeast. So there's opportunities to go to different places. Generally speaking, I like it. And I'm happy to share it with you. You can definitely try it yourself. If you want to, I put my affiliate link into the show description. So if you're interested in eCam or what this is or what it looks like, that's what it looks like now in 2026. And that's how I am using it. Thanks for watching, you guys, and have a great day. I'm going to try and figure out how to end the video. Here we go.